met with Indian Foreign Minister. So can you elaborate what issues are being discussed in this?
With the Indian minister, we discussed our bilateral relations. We have friendly, good relations for more than 30 years, but we want to increase our economic cooperation, people-to-people's contacts through science, innovation, energy, technology. Mostly we touched also on all geopolitical issues from the Russian aggression in Ukraine, Middle East, but also cooperation through the Security Council and how to strengthen and effective make the multilateralism work and the respect for the international law, which I told the minister for Slovenia there is no alternative to that, and we need strong allies to protect peace and stability around the world.
India has been very vocal about retaining its birth at the UNSC, permanent membership at the UNSC. So, do you support India's candidature for UNSC permanent member?
You're speaking about the Security Council. I mean, we are supporting the candidacy for a non-permanent seat. I know that India is also trying to follow up Slovenia. But if you speak about the reform of the Security Council, I can say that we definitely support. We need to have a better reflection of current geopolitical stand, be it in a Security Council among non-permanent members, but also in the permanent members. So I do support that we take a better look in the position of the seats at the table. So if there will be direction to go to increase the number of members, I don't see the reason why India wouldn't be at the table.
Defense is one area where India is seeking its role at the global stage. So can provide details what kind of defense support the country is looking for?
The defense was one of the topics that recently was discussed at a meeting with the European Commission, the commissioners that were visiting New Delhi. I even discussed it briefly with the Indian minister. If you look Europe today, what we are now, because of the Russian aggression in Ukraine and the war on European continent, trying to build our resilience, our recovery, but also expenditure when it comes to the military and the army. So in that regard, we will need partners. We discuss defense cooperation between European Union and India, but also Slovenia and India, and we will hold between the two countries political consultations in May in Delhi to see whether we can here explore further what the options are.
With Slovenia advocating for accountability and humanitarian support in Ukraine through its UNSC position, but we have seen several UNSC proposals table, but there were some kind of differences at the UNSC level and the Security Council level as well. In this regard, how do you see India's role in the UN and how both the countries can collaborate and bring some kind of accountability?
I think we all have the same desire as Ukrainians. We want to see this war to end. In Slovenia, we want to see the end on terms of UN Charter. So we want to see lasting and just peace. In this regard, we are discussing Ukraine in Security Council and United Nations. We do see now some beginning of possible truce, ceasefire. And I do hope that when it comes to serious negotiations, of course, Ukrainians are at the table. So any agreement that is reached, it has to be acceptable for Ukrainians. And Europeans, we want to be at the negotiation table. So I do support peace initiatives that go in the direction to end the war, but to end and ensure lasting and just peace for Ukraine.
There is one issue which completely disturbs the global order right now is the Trump's tariff. US has been imposing or announcing some kind of tariffs on every country, and India is one of the victims as well. So how do you see this kind of imposition of tariff against Euro, against India?
Trade wars are not beneficial to any society. Trade wars, we all see in the past that were not helping to countries to develop in a good way, or economies. But threatening with tariffs or threatening to change the borders on the paper, like what we heard from new American administration, the dispute to Canada, to Greenlandia, Panama, all these are, of course, issues that we have to take them seriously into account. I mean, for Slovenia, the world-based order is something that it has to be undermined, not to be undermined. So for that, if there are tariffs imposed to European Union and the countries, I mean, there is clearly the counter-reaction will be required. So I would wish that we have a good partnership, strategic partnership, because US was always the very important strategic partner also to Slovenia. And we want to see this partnership through the dialogue, to understand each other and to work for the benefits of our societies and our economies.
And do you think that this kind of trade war, tariff war, can bring Europe and India closer?
I believe that for any nation that wants to avoid trade wars and really wants to build a sincere partnership, also through economy, these alliances are very important. Europe and India are certainly moving closer together. This we can see through trade agreement or to negotiations, and I do hope that they will successfully conclude by the end of the year, and also growing interest for investments on both sides. So yes, I do see quite a lot of positive dynamics.
My last question is about the West Asia situation in West Asia. Gaza, Israel has been, despite the peace process, there are aggression by Israel. So, what is your opinion on this? President Trump is also talking about dislocation of people of Gaza to some other places.
Very seriously, any forced displacement of people from Gaza is unacceptable, and it's against the international law. We were very outspoken through the Security Council, also with several resolutions calling for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza, for a release of hostages and prisoners, for additional humanitarian assistance and implementation of two-state solution. You know that Slovenia last year recognized independent and sovereign state of Palestine because we do believe Palestinians deserve their land. We are supportive to the reforms of Palestinian Authority and strongly calling against illegal annexation of West Bank or settlements and the increased violence of settlers in the West Bank. This is something that is very worrisome, so we will continue working for peace, and we also believe that implementing two-state solution gives the only guarantee for a safety of Israelis and Palestinians living side by side.